A woman in Oklahoma is causing some controversy over some decorations she put up. I guess she wanted to get a head start on Halloween, so she put up some skulls and a coffin and just your regular Halloween-type decorations, probably some spider webs or whatever, the fake ones, of course. But she also put this up. A tombstone that says Obama on it, and it has some blood. So local news picked up this story and ran with it, and what we learned from them is that apparently her neighbors are really offended by this, and they want her to take it down. So this opens up the discussion where you and I will step in here and we'll discuss, should she take it down? Now, before we continue, let me state unequivocally that clearly this is fucked up. Okay. The idea that you cross this certain line when talking about presidents, whether it's, the shooting target. We did a story where Obama was a target and people would shoot at Obama at a range. We've done stories of people hanging Obama, hanging Obama dolls, burning Obama in effigy. All these different things, these different signs of over-the-top, violent imagery and disrespect to the president. I think it's gross. I think the people doing it are bad people. I think it speaks more about them than it does about anything regarding the president's policies and so on and so forth. With that being said, she shouldn't have to take it down. Now, I would tell her, hey, you're being a dick. Stop. And by the way, I keep referring as a her. One article referred to this as a female who put it up. Another one said it was a male. Okay. So maybe we should just go with it. All right. But either way, I would try to implore the person, look, this is kind of fucked up. It's not right for you to do it. But it's, again, I come full circle to the old Voltaire quote, where it's the idea that if you don't believe in freedom of speech and freedom of expression for those who you disagree with the most, you don't believe in it at all. Now, if this was a specific threat, well, specific threats are already against the law. Okay, to give a direct threat to anybody, especially the president, that's against the law. So, like, when somebody says on Twitter to Obama, I'm going to kill you, and they give, like, some level of detail, yeah, the Secret Service should look into that, the Fed should look into that, and they should take action if necessary, if they deem it credible, if it's real. So, direct threats are against the law. You can't threaten the president. But the question is, does what this person's doing with this Halloween decoration, does that fall under political speech and free speech, freedom of expression, or does it fall under direct threat territory, and she should be forced to take it down? I side heavily, even though I probably would hate the woman, and this is a terrible thing to do, I side heavily on you have to let her keep it up. And look, here's another aspect of this that goes into the reasoning, into the total picture. If the situation were reversed, like, let's say, I've seen the signs, signs saying stuff about George W. Bush that even I wouldn't agree with. People hanging Bush in effigy, burning him in effigy. They could if somebody put up a Bush grave and put the blood on it like this. First of all, would I say you need to take that down by force of law? I wouldn't. Again, I think it's tasteless. I think there are better ways to get your message across that you dislike the president and his policies and you hate the president even. But in terms of forcing via law, unless it's a direct, credible threat to the president, no, you're allowed to do it, okay? And I really think that this clearly falls in line with the idea of free speech and freedom of expression. And what I would implore liberals to do is every time you see a situation like this, you have to think about it if the situation was reversed and it was a Democrat doing it about a Republican, because that really puts things in perspective. So I saw on a lot of liberal blogs and websites, Crooks and Liars was one, Addicting Info was another, they had these like scornful headlines about how, kind of implying like, how dare this person do that, they should take it down. And I mean, I don't know, by force of law? Are you saying by force of law? Because if you are saying that, let's be honest, that is kind of hypocritical. Because we didn't have outcries when there were similar things that happened under the Bush administration. You didn't see liberals come out and say, take down that thing of Bush where you're hanging Bush. We didn't do that. So it's when we agree with the president, we understand, or when we agree with the president and somebody else does it, we go, oh, well, you should be forced to take that down. But when it's the guy who we disagree with and somebody on our team does it, we're willing to be more kind and more leeway and say, no, they're not doing a direct threat. They're not actually hanging Bush. It's a fucking doll of Bush. You see what I mean? So I'm kind of trying to scream at people on my side and just people in general to be objective across the board, because we know they're hypocrites, and when they do this hypocritical bullshit, we're going to laugh in their face, right? Because we all know that the second there's a Republican president and there's some sort of, protest against that president, burning an effigy or whatever, they're going to say, oh, unpatriotic liberals, they hate America, so on and so forth. And of course, we'll know, you assholes, when the situation was reversed, you reversed, so you're hypocrites. But let's us not fall into the same trap as them. Either way, when somebody does some tasteless free speech or free expression, it still falls under protected speech and protected expression.